All right, everybody. Revelation 14, 1870 Bible study. This is going to be a tough one to put all in one spot. First 5 verses here is 144,000. Talks about how they're with the Lamb. It gives you our delusion that they were virgins. They've never lied. They've always been virgins. They're spiritually pure, physically pure, to be honest with you. They are redeemed as first fruits. To be first fruits, that would include you. Any male born of a woman was supposed to be a first fruit if it's your firstborn male. That goes back into Numbers, as I alluded to earlier. So anyways, 14, 1 through 5, we'll call it 14a, is also chapter 7a. 14a. Put it right there. Same group, guys. Same group there. Now we're going to skip, and we'll come back to verses 6 through, how far we go? Look, behold, one like son of man. That's too far down. Where we go to here? The third angel. Here's the patience of the saints here. Okay, the patience of the saints. Chapter 12, this is 7b. So we'll call 14b right here. Let's put it on this side, really. I'll show you why in a minute. 14b. That would be chapter 14, verses 12 through 13. 12 and 13. Here's the patience of the saints. Here, those who keep the commandments of God and faith of Jesus. I heard angels saying, "Right, blessed are the dead who die in the Lord from now on. Yes, says the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors and their works will follow them." Okay. Interesting thing here. Those who die in the Lord from now on. Remember, 7b must begin at least as early as 5th seal, which is crazy because the 5th seal right here is the cutoff point for 7b, is where it begins, and it ends right here. So however long 7b is and 14b, it's going to, we'll do it down here. It's going to go at least this far here. So at least from this point here, note it ends here, it could begin even earlier, but at least at the 5th seal, people are being martyred, and he is told, your number must be completed. Remember, the soul is crying out here. So down here is completed. So 14b, verses 12 and 13, we know at some point within this part right here, we don't know where exactly. It says from now on, so I conclude that 14 goes all the way back up here where Revelation chapter 7 was. Somewhere right up around here. The 2 paths, the riddle of 3 rods, if you're familiar with all that. So let's go back now and look at this, because Revelation 14 covers pretty much the entire tribulation. And I can show you this here. I saw another angel flying in the midst of heaven, having everlasting gospel to preach. Now, why would you need to preach the gospel if the church is here? This is my conclusion. Whenever the church is here and he has to preach the gospel, the church is not in the earth. Church will be, somehow protected. We may be here, but we're hidden somehow. As Zephaniah says, perhaps we'll be hidden. I believe that was actually referring to the woman here, but we may be the woman. Just different people believe different things there. Either way, the church, some people believe the church is up here in heaven with 4 and 5. Some people believe the church is over here with chapter 10. It don't matter. Either way, the end result is the church is not here during this time. So an angel goes out preaching the everlasting gospel. And then the gospel concludes with group 14b there. And then, let's see, where was I at here? I lost my place in my book over here. I'm going to flip back over to my Bible. Another angel follows, saying, "Babylon is fallen, is fallen." The timeline for that breakoff point is right here. Babylon is fallen. This is Revelation 18, and this way is Revelation 17. Really, I should not put that far back. Well, yeah, I should. Why not? Put Revelation 17 there. You got to really study this one out. You ain't got to believe me here if you want to, but, we know without a doubt when we get Revelation 17, she comes out with the beast from the abyss. Revelation 18 was already here beforehand. When it says Babylon is fallen, I believe that is referring you right here to the 6th, right here where all the rich people cry out, and the ships are destroyed here with the 2nd trumpet, I believe it was, the ships are destroyed. This is Revelation 18. Remember, the Revelation 17 doesn't even come out until the 5th trumpet. Well, you don't remember because we ain't covered it yet. But anyways, we'll get there later. So this right here, the third angel sounding out from Revelation 14:9 is referring you to this time period right here, between the 6th seal being opened and the 5th trumpet being blown. That's what it's referring to. That's going to be the time of really chapter 18 probably goes all the way back to the time of Christ even. But anyways, we'll get to that later. Then he says, third angel follows and says, anyone who worships the beast. So the third angel follows the second angel. So, back up here. Great angel preaches an everlasting gospel. 3 angels. Let's do it this way. Let's do I might have to erase some of the stuff I know. 1 angel sounds here. First angel's there. Put a 1. Second angel cries out, Babylon is fallen. I'll tell you what, let's do this. Second angel's here. First angel is somewhere prior to that. We don't know where. I'm not putting it underneath these seals. It could be way up here. It could be way down here. I don't know. But we know this point here is the second angel. Man, that looks terrible. Never do it like my kid always told me to write my kid always told me I write my twos funny looking. Alright, so then the third angel comes out. Third angel falls and said with a loud voice, if anyone worships the beast or the image or receives a mark on his forehead, he shall also drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out at full strength into the cup of his indignation. With the wrath of God, these 7 bowls. So the third angel is crying out at some point between this time here, we don't know where. That's the third angel right there. Some point in this 42 months, the third angel cries out. So look at your time frame of Revelation here. You're covering a wide range of time. The first one may sound all the way back here at the beginning of 1290 days when the things in heaven are disrupted. Don't know that. We don't know really when that is, but you can allude to whatever you want to there. So, and their smoke will ascend forever and ever. You'll get that later with the Revelation 17 harlot. Then, of course, you'll get the patience of the saints. The saints are the people who are spared during this time. This is the martyrs, the blue line here. That's the patience of the saints. During that time frame, you don't just get in by calling on the name of Christ. That time has come and passed. You have missed your chance. As the movie so-called Left Behind. You are left behind. And I don't know for sure it even starts at 6 to it. It may start all the way back up here. God help the world if the church isn't here. If everybody is right and they believe that Revelation chapter 4 is the point where the church is called out, God help the world, because in this time frame here, nobody's going to know what's going on. And it's going to be scary. And they're going to be given a man to worship. That man is going to be the false prophet. He's going to be performing all kinds of signs and miracles. And when the 6th seal happens and everything comes crashing down, and the 5th trumpet is blown and the beast comes out, the false prophet's going to tell everybody, worship the beast, this is my God. A scary, scary time. And during that time, not only do you want a false prophet and the beast, but you got the devil going around killing everybody. So, go figure. Anyways, that's the first part there. Now, the rest part's parenthetical also. Verse 14 is going to take you to the summer harvest. All these harvests, right? This group here, 7b, is the wheat and the tares. That's why the wheat and tares are going to grow together. They're going to be harvested together. That's what I believe that's referring to. They're the wheat and the tares. The people with the mark of the tares. That's why wheat and tares grow together. You got 2 groups, one sealed by God, one, that's why God doesn't take Israel out. He can't. But remember, this is the wheat harvest. Your first fruits of the wheat harvest was right here, the 144,000. Group chapter 7a. That's your first fruits of the wheat harvest. What happened before the wheat harvest was the barley harvest. That's why I told you about chapter 5 of Revelation. It was all about Ruth and Boaz, right? Ruth and Boaz took place during the barley harvest. So that's important to know. Barley harvest happens here. Then, by the way, the barley, interesting fruit there. The barley restrains the season. The season does not begin, the month of Nisan cannot begin until the barley is ripe. Which means if the month of Adar has ended and the barley is still not ripe, guess what? You get a second month of Adar. The year is extended another 30 days. So that's why the barley restrains the coming of this time. That may be an allusion to something else. It may not be. There's a lot of debate on that. But anyway, the barley harvest happens here. I'm not saying the barley is carried up into heaven. That's the one thing I still don't believe in. But I do believe that barley here is going to be protected. After the barley is protected, you have a time frame of the days of Omer. At the end of the days of Omer, 7a, you have the first fruits are taken. That's the child being born to the woman read about in Revelation 12 verse 7, where I drew the arrow coming up. That's where the child's caught up to the throne. That's the catching up of the child to the throne of God. The first fruits of Israel. Remember, it's 12 tribes of Israel here is where the children come from. After that time, you only have one harvest left. That's your first fruits of the wheat. At that time, parable of the sower says, they come in and say, hey, we sowed good wheat. We just took the first harvest. And guess what? We found out not all the seed's good. Some of the seed's bad. Christ says, let them all grow together until the end of the age, and then we'll harvest them all together down here at the end. Group 7b, harvest at the end of the age. So what happens in the middle of the harvest, you're about to find out here. Verse 14 of chapter 14, I looked and behold a white cloud, and on the cloud sat the Son of Man, having in his hand a golden crown and a golden sharp sickle. You're about to find out what the sickle is for. Another angel comes out and says, thrust your sickle and reap, for the time of your reap has come, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. Actually, the word for ripe here is actually at the end of its ripeness. You kind of waited to the very last minute. It's time to do it now. Today's the last day you can do it. He who sat on the cow thrust his sickle, and the earth was reaped. What is he talking about here? Verses 14 through 16, you're actually going to find out lines up right here. With this right here, chapter 6. Verses 14 and 16 is the sixth bowl. It is the great winepress. Because the sickle is used to harvest grapes. So, here we go. Then another angel came out of the temple, with also having a sharp sickle, who had the power of a fire, with a loud voice crying, thrust your sickle. I'm sorry, I got this confused here. We don't know what he reaps with the sickle. We don't know what Christ reaps. We're not told that here. Christ reaps something. Then the angel comes out and reaps from the altar and cries out, thrust your sharp sickle and gather the clusters of the vines, for her grapes are fully ripe. That's the one I was thinking there. Sorry guys, I'm reading this in English, so I'm having to go by memory here. Fully ripe is the one where it is the end of ripeness. So Christ got the first reaping with the sickle. Then an angel comes and gets the second reaping of the sickle. And this angel gathers the grapes and throws them into the winepress of the wrath of God. What's the wrath of God? The bowls. So at the end of the 42 months, the grapes are gathered in the bowls. You're going to find out in the 2 chapters, they're gathered at a place called Armageddon. The winepress is trampled outside the city, verse 20. And the blood of the winepress, the horses' bridles, it came all the way up to the horses' bridles 4 feet deep. So the blood of the people is going to be 4 feet deep. It's going to cover 1,600 furlongs, but I think it's something like 200 miles. No, sorry, 184 miles. It says right here. 184 miles. It's going to be how far it is. So 4 feet deep, 184 miles long. That's a lot of people. The way you tread a wine press is you put all the wine together and you stomp on it, you stomp on the grapes, and you mash the wine out of the bottom of it. You're killing them, you're pressing them. And when you're doing this, you're stomping them, you're splattering the grape juice all over you. And it's red color. So you're going to come out with your clothes dipped in blood. Very important symbolism here. Your clothes are going to be dipped in blood. You're going to find out why that's important in the Battle of Armageddon. So, that's going to conclude Revelation chapter 14. It's a huge chapter. It goes all over the place. Remember, again, a parenthetical chapter. It doesn't, with these groups here. Reason why God uses parenthetical chapters is that He lays out a lot of information. And chapters 10, chapter 11, chapter 13, chapter 14 are all parenthetical with the exception of the second half of chapter 11. Because this part right here lays out a whole bunch of information. And before God can blow the seventh trumpet and then pour out 7 bowls, He needs you to know a lot of information. So that's what's going on here, why you have parenthetical chapters. He's got to go back and give you the side shot. You got the frontal view over here, is the parenthetical chapters, you're going to take the side view that way. So that's what this is all about. I'm going to have to erase some of these notes here before we get on to the next show here, because this stuff here is just getting too messy. We just erase all this stuff here. I mean, Revelation 13 is pretty straightforward, so 2,300 days. Let's go on to, we're going to do Revelation 15 next. So let me stop this and we'll come back.